Hi everyone, I'm Allie with PotomacBeads. Join me in making this waterfall necklace. Remember, you just need some DiscDuos and some seed beads to join in the fun. If you do need any materials, check out the links below me to shop from us online. So the first thing we're going to do is learn some right angle weave. If you don't know right angle weave, I would definitely suggest watching one of our right angle weave videos before you get started. To begin this right angle weave, we're going to be doing 4 sides with 3 11-0 seed beads on each side. I've already put on my first row having 6 seed beads on one side, 6 on the other, and going back through those original 6 beads to turn in a circle. From here on, you're going to be putting 9 seed beads on at once. So you're going to put 9 seed beads onto your needle. There's 3, 6 for my second side, and then 9 for my fourth side. I'm going to take the last 3 seed beads that my thread is coming out of and go back down through those 3 beads. What this is going to do is this is going to form my second box in line. Go back through the next 3 beads that you just added. So in that second group there, go back through the first 3 and go back through the second 3 and bring your thread and needle out. Now continuing on, add 9 more beads. There's 6, 7, 8, 9, because remember 3 go on a side. Go back up through the 3 that your thread is coming out of. I flip it in my hand, you can see, to make it a little bit easier to hold. You can keep it up there at the top. You're going to go back through the first 3 that you added, and then through the second 3, which would be coming out after the 6th bead that you just added when you added 9. There you have the first 3 right angle units. And continue adding in, again, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. That's going to give you 3 more sides to your box. Go down through the last 3 beads that your thread are coming out of, then through 6 more beads. The first 3 you just added, and through the next 3, so going through 6 beads. From here then you're going to continue on with those right angle units to add in all of them for the base of the waterfall. When you get to the base, we're going to add about 10 of our right angle units in, and then we'll come back and we're actually going to create a V, and I'll show you how to do that. So I got a little bit ahead of myself and I actually added 14 units. So we're going to go with 14 as the count for the units. When you're getting ready to turn and create that V in your project for that waterfall, what you're going to do is, after going through the first 3 beads of one of your unit, you're going to go through the next 3. So we've been going through the 6 beads total that you put on out of the 9 in each unit. We're just going through the first 3. What you're going to do then is put on a total of 9 more beads, and then easy peasy, you've changed the direction of the right angle weave so it's coming off the side of your project. I'm going to change this in my hand so it looks like a V. So up through the first 3, so through the second 3 of that right angle unit, and then once you're through those second 3, there you have it. On goes an additional 9 more. And once the 9 are on, continue on with that right angle weave, going through those 3 at the bottom, and then along through 3 and 6 here at the top. So since I did 14 units of the right angle weave, I'm going to do an additional, because you're going to share the bottom one, so we're sharing number 14, so I have 13 more, which is going to look like 14 in length, to build on to that top of that V for the waterfall. Once you get to the end of your V section here, you can see that nice right angle weave that's happening. And we have 13 long, and then we share a 14th block with the other side. When I'm coming out of the last bead, I've lined up my DiscDuos, 13 of them, and I have 4 colors ranging from the Pastel Petrol to the metallic Aqua to the Pastel Turquoise, and then the golden touch shadows. So I'm kind of going with that waterfall flowing down. Coming out of the last right angle weave section, I did have to add thread. You can ignore that if you started with about 5 feet of the beading thread and the .006 wildfire. I'm going to add in 4 of my 15 seed beads. The 15 O's that I'm adding are the Duracoat Galvanized Pewter. From here, I'm going to go through my DiscDuo, add 1 of my 15s, and then you're going to go to the next section across of that box. So you're going basically to all of that connection area. I'm going to sew through from the right side, which my thread is currently coming out of along the top, and go through all 3 of that side of my right angle. Coming out, add 1 15, go through the other side of the DiscDuo, add in 4 more of your 15s, sew back through those 3 beads at the top, straight across to the other side, and once you're at the other side, give a nice little yank to make sure that that DiscDuo is sitting correctly. From here, you're going to go down through the 3 on the side of the base unit, and then you're going to go through the 3 connection point. We're going to do the exact same thing. This time, same color. I have 4 of this darker color. This time I'm starting on the left hand or the right hand side, adding in my 4 15s, then my DiscDuo, then my 1 15, going down to the 3 beads that sit on the opposite side of the box, sewing straight through to the left hand side. Coming out that left hand side, add 1 15, sew through the second hole of your DiscDuo. Coming out through that DiscDuo, you're going to add 4 more 15s and sew back through that original line. So that line of seed beads right there. The line you're originally coming out of, you're sewing back through those 3. And once you're through those 3 into the other side, make sure you're not coming out any 15s. You're going to give, again, a nice little tight pull. Make sure that DiscDuo is sitting exactly the way that you want it, which will be almost overlapping the one before it. From here, you're going to go down through the 3 beads along the side, through those 3 beads that are at one of the connection of the right angle weave, and continue on. So I'm going to do 4 beads that are this pastel petrol color. After that, I'm switching to the metallic aqua, and I'll do 3 of those, and then I have 3 of the pastel turquoise and 3 of those golden touch. What's going to happen is these are going to sit almost overlapping, kind of looking like they're flowing down on this base of right angle weave. When you're done the first side of the waterfall necklace, you can see that pretty color range, how they overlap and sit perfectly right next to one another. This is also, would match with the jewelry that I have on. You could also do this as a bracelet. I just wanted to show it on the wrist. That is really, really cool, kind of 3-dimensional, sits on its side bracelet that you could also do with this color range and have a nice bangle as you're working with it. What I'm going to be doing is going to the other side. When we go to the other side, what we are going to do is skip the middle for now. When we add our middle component, we will go in and attach to that middle. So I'm coming out of my top of my last one. I'm going to go through the 3 down the sides, just as if I were getting ready to add. And then what I'm going to do instead is grab a 15, and I'm going to sew up through the 3 seed beads, or I'm sorry, sew down through the 3 seed beads right next to it. So we're kind of jumping that gap. So you're just going right in a straight circle. That adds a little 15 right there in the middle, which hides a little bit of thread, and then we're in position to start again. This time when you're starting, you want to think about the fact that you're going backwards. So you're going to add 1 small 15, then your DiscDuo, then 4, because we want the waterfall to be going the same way. So they're both going to be coming to that peak. But it's the same continuance then of going in, adding in the 4 after, getting them in place and lining up those DiscDuos. When you get the last DiscDuo in place here, you can see that nice kind of color waterfall happening. And what I'm going to do is sew up and tie off my threads because this section of the project is done. So I'm going to go up through the right angle weave. And because the DiscDuos are there, you're not going to see the knot. I'm going to go right over to that starter thread and literally tie those two threads together. Again, remember you can do this with other beads as well. You are going to need a 2-hole bead to sit, and it'll look a little funkier. The DiscDuos are ideal, and that's why I'm using those for the example. At this point here, I'm going to burn off these threads, and my middle V section here is finished. And we're going to concentrate now on the bottom section. So I'm burning off those threads. I have some on the other side too from adding thread. And once you have that thread burner down and done, you can see that nice V again. Again, check it out for a bracelet as well. You can also play around with that color design. So we're going to go down now. We have basically 6 beads hanging out in the center there, and we're going to do our connection there. If you're interested in doing the tassel kind of cover that's going to go around the band, it is just a series of kind of ladder stitch going with 2 15s, then an 11, and then 2 more 15s onto the needle. Your thread is coming out of a group of those. You're going to go into the bottom of that same group the thread is coming out of, out towards the top where the thread is, back down through that series of 5 beads that you just added, and repeat. Once the band is big enough, I will sew it around the tassel cap just to give a little bit of that color from the original waterfall design. Once all of this section is done here, we have to attach the last of the DiscDuos as well as our link here. We're using the stainless steel link in the 18mm, and I have on there one of the Lunacabs in the 18mm in sky blue to add to that waterfall. That gray tassel then is the light gray 4cm tassel. We did that cap, which again is optional, and also if you don't want the tassel at the bottom, you can always take your pliers and actually break off one of the links, so that way the last thing hanging is just the Lunasoft cap. I'm going to be adding these things with a separate thread and needle. So the first thing I'm going to do is go through my right angle weave. Now I have 6 beads here at the bottom, and I'm going to start basically at that spot where we get to those 6s, and I happen to have a knot there from doing a knot cover, or I'm sorry, from adding thread. And I'm going to take this thread through here so that I'm coming out the side of those 6 beads. So I had the 6 beads on, now I'm coming out the side of those 6 beads. Once I'm out the side of the 6 beads, I'm going to be adding the actual DiscDuo onto the thread. With the thread coming out of the end here, I have a 15, a DiscDuo, and a 15 on my needle. I'm going to go back to the original side here and back through those first starter 3 beads. So we're going to go through those starter 3, and that's going to pull the DiscDuo right to the top. We're then going to sew through, after that starter 3, through the next 2, which are going to bring us out, or I'm sorry, through the next 1 rather, which is going to bring us out towards the second hole of that same DiscDuo. Give it a little tight pull to make it sit right on top, because we want it to sit almost over top of that flow. Add another 15, sew through the second hole, add 1 more 15, and you're going to go to the other side here and sew through the 2 seed beads, I'm sorry, the 1 seed bead next to the 6s. That set of 6. So you're going to go right in there. It's a little bit hard to see right there. You go right in there up through that 1. If you need to, you can also kind of flip it to the back so you can see that bead. I'm going to just bend that there so you can see a little bit better. Force my needle in just that 1 bead and take it through. That's going to sit that last Petrol DiscDuo kind of right towards the top of the design. So it's just going to kind of be hanging out there. What I want to do with the link while I have this thread on is I actually want to bring that link and hide the loop for the link to the back underneath the DiscDuo. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to go down through, you have this grouping of 6 seed beads here. I'm going to go down through 1, bring my needle out after that 1, take the needle to the back of the project, grab your little link here. You're going to sew the link in place. So we're going to take this link and we're going to sew basically a figure 8. You're going into the link, and then from that thread on that figure 8 here, you're going to hop over to the one on the other side. So you're coming out of 1, you're going into basically 6 along that bottom row of 6. Now remember, with this pendant you can kind of do whatever you want, add whatever you want, and have fun with it. I'm going to kind of tuck it up there, give a nice tight pull, tucking it up right at the bottom of that waterfall, and then you're going to go back through in the opposite direction. So you're going back down under the loop in, again, that figure 8 form, and then I'm going to come out through bead number 1. When I come out through bead number 1, I'm going to bring the thread ends towards the back of the project. Give a nice tight pull. When you give a tight pull, get that tail out of there. When you give a tight pull, it should kind of pull it up into the project. And that way it doesn't hang and you don't really see it at all. To finish it off, what we're going to do is go into the 15-0 seed bead that's with the DiscDuo. You're going to grab 5 of your 11-0 seed beads, so into the 15 on the other side. And that's going to hide anything there that's left. From here, go down through those 6s, or I'm sorry, that 6-11-0 grouping. You can go into the clasp again, and all I'm doing is going to tie the 2 thread ends together. So I'm just getting it from one side to the other side, going to tie the 2 thread ends together, and that loop is going to hang out right there. Last thing we need to do is attach our tassel. We're going to do that with a second piece of thread and needle coming out of this ladder stitch, and then just with some jump rings, attach our chain to the back of the project. With the jump rings, we're going to go into that last section of right angle weave, attach them, and simply add the chain to the back. When it comes time to add the tassel, you're going to sew through the tassel, going underneath one of these bridge threads from the little cap. If you have a tassel that already has a cap, that's fine. You can use that and connect right there. I'm going to sew through as straight as I can, which should bring me out under one of the bridge threads on the other side. Taking that thread through there, you're just going to let that starter thread hang out along the side. We're going to add some of our 11-0 seed beads then to create a little topping to attach to the loop. So I have on 6 11s. Those are going to go right up to the top and kind of sit right there. Sew through, just the loop. Come back down through that first seed bead. So you're coming back down through the 5th, or the 6th seed bead rather. A nice little tight pull. Add 5 more of your 11s. Come back to that starter side and tie these 2 threads together. You can take the thread and needle through one more time, reinforcing it to make that tassel hang nicely. Or, because the thread is nice and strong, you're fine exactly how you are. Once I have my knots, I'm going to take my needle back through my tassel here, bring it out wherever, doesn't matter. Pull that knot into the tassel a tiny bit, take my threads up, and burn down my thread ends. Making sure as I'm burning them down that I'm not burning down any set or any section of the tassel. As always, thanks so much for joining me in making this waterfall necklace. Remember, you can stop here, you can make it longer, you can make it into a bracelet, you can add the fringe at the bottom as I did too. You can have fun creating it and making it your own. Whatever you do, if you want to comment below and let us know, and also share ideas with those watching as well. Give a little thumbs up as well as subscribe to this YouTube channel to get regular updates from us at Potomac Beads. Remember, if you do need any supplies, check out the links below me in the description. That way you can purchase from us online at Potomac Beads. As always, thanks for watching and enjoy your own waterfall necklace.